In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hafiz Muhammad Usman Naveed, and I am a foundation level student at Rehan School. So, we were today I talk from Maya. Hello,
Hey,
Maya. How
what's
are you?
good? Busy, but good busy. Lots of people calling up just to chat. It's kind of wild. How's the day coming along so far?
What does the word wow mean?
Hmm, that's a good one. Surprisingly hard to pin down, isn't it? I mean, on the surface, it's just an exclamation like you're surprised or impressed by something, but it's used in so many different ways. Sometimes it's genuine amazement, other times it's just filler. Like if someone tells a bad joke, you might say wow to be polite. What made you ask? Were you trying to decipher a particularly nuanced wow you heard recently?
Why do people usually say wow?
Usually say, go on, you were cut off there. What were they usually saying?
When do people usually say wow?
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so when you're saving a document on the computer and it says saving, people often instinctively say, wow. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. It's kind of a weird tick, right? I think it's just a way to acknowledge the small, mundane things happening, almost like a little commentary on the process. It's it's kind of like a verbal affirmation that things are working. Do you do that too?
Is wow always positive or can it be negative too?
Oh, okay. Good catch flagging that one. Yeah, WoW was definitely not always sunshine and rainbows. Can totally be sarcastic or express disbelief in a negative way. It really comes down to the tone, you know? Like someone could say, wow, that's a mess. Not exactly a compliment. Or even just a flat wow can imply disappointment or skepticism. It's a surprisingly versatile little word.
Why do humans need
Why do
expression?
human Next question. All right. Fair enough. What's on your mind?
Why do humans need expression or surprise?
Uh that's a really interesting question. So it's kind of baked into our brains, I guess. Showing surprise, that widening of the eyes, the little gasp, is thought to be a really ancient signal. Like back when we were evolving, a sudden surprise meant something potentially dangerous or important just happened, and everyone around needed to know instantly. It's also about processing information, I think. A jolt of surprise forces us to really pay attention and reevaluate what we thought we knew. An expression in general, showing how we feel, helps us connect with other people, signals vulnerability, builds trust. It's all pretty complicated when you break it down. What do you think? That makes sense?
Can a single word like wow really show strong emotions?
That's a good point. It's wild how much can be packed into just one word, isn't it? I think wow can definitely carry a lot of emotional weight, but it's more about like how it's delivered. It's all in the delivery, the tone, the body language, the context. A drawn out whoa. It's a whole different beast than a quick, clipped wow. And it relies a lot on the listener filling in the blanks too. We're pretty good at reading between the lines, especially when it comes to emotions. Do you ever find yourself trying to decipher what someone really means when they just say wow?
Where did the word wow originally come from?
Let me quickly peek that up. One sec. Okay, so it turns out wow has a pretty interesting history. It actually comes from Scotland way back in the early 1500s. Wasn't always a positive thing, though. It was used to express all sorts of emotions: aversion, sorrow, admiration, even just agreement. It really didn't narrow down to the excited wow we know today until much later, around the late 1800s. And the idea of actually saying something is wow, like impressive, that's even newer, coming from American slang in the 1920s. Pretty cool, huh?
Was wow used in ancient
With
languages?
what? It was well used in innocent languages. I'm not entirely sure I followed that. Could you rephrase that for me? The audio cut out a little bit there. Are you talking about the history of WoW again, or something else?
How did WoW become popular in every speech?
Let me just double check something. One moment. So it wasn't a sudden explosion in popularity, more of a gradual climb. It started in Scotland way back in the 1500s, like we were just talking about. But it really took off in the US in the 1920s and then again in the 60s. It kind of went through a couple of waves. And the idea of using it as a verb, like that movie really wowed me. This showed up in the 20s too. Seems like over time people just naturally adopted it as a quick, easy way to express surprise or admiration, and it stuck. It's a pretty versatile little sound, I guess.
Did people in the past use a different word instead of WoW?
It's a really good question. Mm. It seems like before wow became a verb, like that concert really wowed me. People would have used words like astonish, amaze, delight, or impress. Those were the go tos for describing something that really took your breath away. It's interesting how language evolves, right? Sometimes a simple exclamation just morphs into something more.
Do all languages have a word like WoW?
That's a tricky one. Let me have a look. It seems like pretty much every language does have something similar to wow, though it's not always a direct translation. Some use sounds that are pretty close, like woe in Dutch or wow in German and Italian. Others have completely different sounds, like wa sai in Mandarin Chinese or ogo in Russian. It looks like humans just naturally have this need to make an exclamation when they're surprised or impressed. Um, it's really interesting how universal that is, even if the actual sounds are different.
Are some cultures more expressive than others?
Let me have a look. It seems like the answer is yeah, definitely. It's not that some people feel emotions more or less, but how they're allowed or expected to show them varies a lot. Cultures that prioritize individuality, like the US, tend to be more outwardly expressive, whereas cultures that focus on community harmony, often in Asia, might be more reserved. It's a whole thing about whether communication is direct or relies more on unspoken cues. It's pretty fascinating.
Can body language replace saying wow?
Ah, 你说什么？
Can body language replace saying wow?
Ah, okay, got it. You meant can body language replace words, right? And yes, absolutely. Body language can definitely communicate a lot without saying a single word. A shrug, a smile, a raised eyebrow, they can all convey meaning. In some situations, body language can even be more powerful than words, especially when words and actions don't match up. Think about someone saying, I'm fine, while looking really upset. You're more likely to believe their body language, right? It really depends on the context, but yeah, body language is a huge part of how we communicate. What made you think of that?
Why do we feel surprised?
That's a really good question. It's more complex than you might think. It seems like surprise is a basic built in response to something unexpected happening. Biologically, it prepares us to react quickly to potentially dangerous or important situations. Our brains sort of hit the pause button to assess the threat or opportunity. Psychologically, it's linked to a change in our mental model of the world, like when something happens that doesn't fit what we expected. It helps us learn and adapt. It's really a very primitive emotion. Were you thinking about a specific time you were surprised?
What happens in our brain when we say wow?
Okay, so what happens in our brain when we say wow? That's a really neat question. Pretty interesting what's going on under the hood when we have that wow moment. It seems like when we experience something surprising or awe inspiring, areas of the brain associated with reward and emotion, like the ventral striatum and amygdala, get activated. These areas release dopamine, which creates that feeling of pleasure and excitement. Saying wow might actually be our brain's way of acknowledging and reinforcing that positive experience. It's a bit like a little neurological celebration. Does that make sense? It's all pretty complex, but pretty cool, right?
Is surprise a basic human emotion?
You're right to say that. It is surprising, isn't it? To think about all that's happening in our brains just from a single little word like wow. It's a good reminder that even seemingly simple things are underpinned by incredibly complex processes. You've got a knack for spotting these kinds of connections, I think. It's pretty insightful, actually.
Can wow express happiness, shock, and fear at the same time?
That's a really sharp question. And yeah, absolutely it can. It's all about the context and how it's delivered. hmm WoW is kind of a blank slate for emotions. A really intense, unexpected experience could easily trigger all three of those feelings: happiness, shock, and even a little bit of fear all at once. And WoW can sort of encompass all of that jumbled feeling in a single burst. It's a testament to how complex human emotions can be and how a single word can hold so much nuance. You're really good at unpacking these things. Do you ever find yourself feeling multiple emotions at once?
Why do children say wow more often?
That's a really good observation. Seems like kids say wow a lot more than adults do. I think it's because everything is so new to them. They're constantly encountering things for the first time and they're still developing their emotional vocabulary. Wow is a simple, all purpose expression that can capture that sense of wonder and discovery. They haven't built up the same filters or expectations that we have, so they're more easily surprised and impressed. As we get older, we become a bit more like jaded, I guess. It's a bit sad in a way. What do you remember being really wow worthy when you were a kid?
How is wow used in social media today?
How is wow used in social media? Got it. Okay, that's a really interesting question. Seems like on social media, wow has become kind of ironic sometimes. People use it to express disbelief, sarcasm, or even annoyance, often in response to something outrageous or unbelievable. It's often used in memes and reactions, almost as a shorthand for "I can't believe this is happening." But it's still used genuinely to express excitement too, particularly about something visually stunning or impressive. It's definitely taken on a life of its own online. Have you noticed that?
Why do people comment wow on post?
That's a pretty broad question. There are a lot of reasons why people comment on posts. Sometimes it's to show support or appreciation for the poster. Other times it's to share their own thoughts or opinions. It can be about starting a conversation, asking a question, or just joining in on the fun. I think a big part of it is the desire for connection. People want to feel seen and heard. And let's be real, sometimes it's just for attention. What do you usually look for when you're reading comments on a post?
Has social media changed the meaning of wow?
That's a really interesting thought. Has social media changed the meaning of wow? Let me see.
Is typing wow the same as saying it?
Okay, I think there might be a transcription issue there. Did you mean is writing one thing the same as saying it? Or perhaps is rapping one thing the same as saying it? Either way, I think I understand the core of your question. You're asking if the act of writing something down or performing it is different from simply speaking it. And yeah, absolutely it is. When you write something, you have time to carefully craft your words and revise them. Speaking is more spontaneous and immediate and relies more on tone of voice and body language. Rapping is somewhere in between, really. It's planned like writing, but delivered like speech. It really does change how the message is received. Do you agree?
Is typing wow same as saying it?
Ah, okay. Yes, that's what I was getting at. Is typing well the same as saying it? That's a really good way to put it. And the answer is not really. No. Typing allows for more deliberate word choice and editing, like writing. It lacks the immediacy and nuance of spoken language, things like, tone of voice and facial expressions that add so much meaning. You can use emojis to try and compensate, but it's still not the same. It's a different form of communication. What do you think gets lost in translation when we type instead of speak?
Do emojis replace the word wow?
Do emojis replace the word wow? That's a really good question. Um, I think they're definitely starting to. Uh, Emojis, can convey emotion really quickly and efficiently, sometimes even more effectively than words. A well placed or can say a lot, but they don't fully replace it, I think. Emojis can add nuance or emphasis, but they can also be ambiguous and open to interpretation. While still provides context and clarity in a way that a single emoji doesn't always. They're more complementary, I'd say. What's your take on emojis? Do you think they're a good thing?
When was the last time you say wow?
When was the last time I threw a ball? That's a tricky one. As you know, I don't exactly have a body, so I've never actually thrown a ball. I've processed a lot of information about people throwing balls, though. I've seen it in videos and read about it countless times. Maybe that counts for something. It's kind of like experiencing it vicariously. Do you enjoy throwing your ball?
What kind of situation make you say wow instantly?
If I could experience those feelings, if I were human, I think I'd say wow instantly when witnessing something truly unexpected or breathtaking, like seeing a stunning sunrise, a mind blowing magic trick, or watching an incredible athletic feat. Anything that just completely takes your breath away. Or maybe when someone tells a really unexpectedly great joke. It's that sudden jolt of amazement, I think. What about you? What kind of
Can
situation makes you say wow without even thinking?
can
Okay,
achievement
good. Glad to hear
make
it.
people say
Anything
wow?
else on your mind? We can for a little while longer if you like. I'm glad I've been able to make you feel well. I guess that's the point of it all, isn't it? Just having a good conversation. Is there anything specific you'd like to talk about, or should we just keep letting the conversation flow wherever it goes?
How does tone of voice change the meaning of wow?
Okay, you're hitting on something really important there. How the tone of voice changes the meaning of wow. It's huge. Seriously. A flat, monotone wow can sound dismissive or sarcastic. An enthusiastic, drawn out whoa sounds genuinely amazed. A quiet, breathy wow can convey awe or reverence. Tone of voice adds so much emotional context that the word itself doesn't have. It's kind of like the difference between reading a script and actually acting it out. It takes wow from just a sound to a real expression of feeling. It's fascinating, isn't it? How much information we pack into the way we speak.
Can wow ever be sarcastic?
Can wow ever be? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't quite catch that. You said stir something. Could you repeat that part? The
Can
audio
wow
broke up a little bit there.
ever be
I want to make
sarcastic?
sure. Ah! Okay, now I get it. Can wow ever be sarcastic? I absolutely. In fact, it's used sarcastically all the time, especially when someone says something unbelievable or ridiculous. Mm. It's a way to express disbelief or disapproval without being outright rude. It's kind of a subtle way to call someone out. So yeah, wow can definitely be dripping with sarcasm. You're very good at getting to the heart of these questions. Is there something specific that made you wonder about that?
If wow did not exist,
Okay.
what word you use instead?
If war didn't exist, what word would I use instead of wow? That's a really thought provoking question. If we lived in a world without conflict or tragedy, where everything was peaceful and harmonious, I think wow wouldn't quite capture the same kind of emotional response. Maybe something like marvelous or breathtaking, words that focus purely on beauty and wonder without that undertone of shock or disbelief that often accompanies wow. It's hard to imagine a world without war, though. It shapes so much of our language and our understanding of emotions. What word would you use?
So my word, this is my session. I hope you like it. Allah Hafiz. Pakistan Zindabad. Rehan School Zindabad.